Well, Isaac, challenging period for the team at the moment. What sort of messaging has been going through the playing group ahead of Adelaide on the weekend?
I think we've got to recognise that this is a home game. I think we need to win more games at home. We haven't won one at home this season. Oh, we've won one at home this season. I think last season a lot of our success was built on getting results away from home, grinding, and then at home winning games. So I think, we've got to stress the importance that this is a home game. We've got to go and win the game.
What about in terms of the run of results, which hasn't been going the way that the team would have hoped? Is there a need to kind of lift each other up? Is that what you're sensing within the group?
I think there's a need for that. I think there's a need for a bit more belief. I think if we go into the games positively and we try and take the game to the opposition and we show our qualities on the ball, I think we can beat most teams in the league.
So there's no sort of complete drop of confidence in the team. There's still a confidence that you can turn things around.
Oh, definitely. I think we're early on in the season. I think there's lots. I think especially in a finals format, there's no need to panic at this stage of the season. I think we're going to grow into the season. I think it's now time to, take a bit of humble pie because we have lost a few games, but get back to the training pitch and work on what we need to work on, and then come good for the end of the season.
And you went through a pretty challenging time for a while there. There were some incidents that you were involved in that led to goals. What sort of strategies did you use to make sure that you didn't get too down on yourself during those times?
I think it's something I've worked on with Taylor, our sports psychologist. I think, a mistake can happen in a game, but what are you going to do for the rest of the game? You're going to sit and think about it for the rest of the game, or you're going to get on with the game? If you want it to be just one mistake in the whole game, then that's what it can be if you can respond to it well. I think there's also times like with my slip where you've just got to let yourself off. Like there's nothing. I'm wearing soft ground boots. I'm playing on what's meant to be a good pitch. If I slip and they score, there's nothing I can do about that. I just got to move on and play the rest of the game.
It seemed, what you just said there, it seemed that's what you did. You still wanted the ball. You still, didn't hide away and get your head down. Is that something that has always come naturally to you?
I don't think so. I don't think it necessarily comes naturally to anyone. Obviously, people are going to naturally have a bit more character than others, but I think it's something Greeny used to say to me, actually, the reserves coach. He used to say, if you make a mistake in the game, I still want you to be just as loud and just the same leader. And I think for me, that's something that helps me in, if I make a mistake in the game, still speaking, still organising, just gets me back into the game. And, it's hard to accept in football because you want to be perfect all the time, but the best players in the world aren't perfect all the time and mistakes are going to happen. So it's about just responding to that as quickly as possible. And
you're a defender too. If a striker makes a mistake as a slip, doesn't necessarily mean anything. Your, slips, whatever, can be magnified, can't they? But that's the trade you've chosen, being a defender.
Tell me about it, Piney. I'm straining not to swear there, but it's a frustrating one. I see people slip all the time and no one scores, but one slip and then the ALeague's Instagram page is posting it, and what can you do?
Well, I guess what you can do is exactly what you've said. You carry on. Adelaide this weekend, they're travelling pretty well. What sort of threat do you assess that they will pose to you on the weekend?
I think they've got a lot of attacking talent. I think even we saw with last year with Adelaide, they were fast. They played a lot of football, but they also conceded a lot of goals. I think, they're good in the transition. I think we're going to have to be switched on and focused for the whole 90 minutes. It's going to require a 90-minute performance, but I think there's definitely opportunities for us to hurt them.
A few questions from Zion at TVNZ as well. We touched on it a bit before, but what's the confidence like within the team given the mixed results?
I think it's obviously not as high as if we'd won every week. I think that's normal, but I think, you can rely on confidence to be a confidence team, but we've got methods and we've got systems and we've got structures that we need to rely on to get us through games. I think, players could probably be a bit more confident in a minute, but I don't think it's the be all and end all to results. I think, once we start getting results, the confidence will come.
What does the team have to do to try and notch, back-to-back wins, consecutive wins?
I think we got to score the first goal in games. I think that's really important. I think games that we've lost, I'm pretty sure all of them we conceded the first goal. So I think that's just about, concentration and being, ready at the start of the game, going into it, starting fast. But I think if we look at that second half of the first half against MacArthur, that's where I think we played our best all season. I think it's about, playing fast, moving the ball quickly, getting it to our wide players like Payne and Sutts, and, getting at teams.
What do you put the results so far this season down to?
It's a combination of a lot of things. I think, in a season, I think you see with us last season, there's fine margins of moments. There's a draw against Western Sydney where we've not had a shot. And then we go into the next game, I think it was Perth, and we won, but they had a penalty last minute, but then AP saves it. I think when you get on a roll in a season, it's easy to get that momentum and, things start going your way. We've had quite a few things, as I spoke with Piney before, about that have not gone our way, not gone my way. But I think for that stuff, it's just if we can weather this period and then start putting them together, we'll start to peak at the right time.
And how much would a win over Adelaide, help the general confidence of the side?
I think it'd be massive. They're one of the top teams this season, so if we can do them over at home, I think it'll give a lot of confidence to us, a lot of confidence to our fans, and it'll give them a reason to keep coming to the stadium.
And just another one from me. You're happy January's here. Did you think you'd done something bad to what happened in December for you?
What's actually funny is the way I look at it is I played my first 4 games last season. Well, I played 4 starts. I had 11 appearances, and then I had my first 5 games, and I played 16 games without making a mistake for a goal, which is not normal for a centre back. And then 3 came back to back. So I think that's how life sometimes is. When it rains, it pours. But I think you've got to look at it, the whole picture, instead of just the right now, not panic and not, start to go into games thinking that I'm cursed or that I've got some sort of voodoo on me, or I don't know. But yeah, I just got to stay calm and stay level.
Did you view them as mistakes, though? Do you feel there's anything you could have done differently for any of those 3 weeks?
I think the Auckland one's the one where if you watch the footage, you can see I take a scan as Scott leaves and goes and puts pressure on Sakai. And if I hadn't done that at that moment, I could have followed and replaced Scott in his position and got down a bit quicker, and then I would have been heading it clear at the front post. And that's a small detail, but a detail I need to work on in the training ground so it becomes automatic when Scott leaves his position, I've got to replace him.